Hey SUBFURYs! Oh, wait my hair, I'll be right back. There we go, that looks better, right? With Season 5 of Race to the Edge fast approaching, there is a theory that we need to talk about. That Viggo Grimborn, leader of the Dragon Hunters, is somehow connected to Drago Bludvist, the megalomaniac from the second movie. This is possibly one of my most asked for theories, so I can't quite remember who suggested it first. But I'm finally gonna do it. So, are they connected? And if so, how are they connected? Now, as I was writing and researching this, I realized there was a lot to talk about, so I've split it up into two parts. This is part one. First off, how can we tell that Viggo and Drago even know of each other? I mean, it's not like all evil dragon murderers just know each other. Then again, maybe they do, maybe they're all pen pals. Well, the first real hint that we get that Drago and Viggo are connected is in Defenders of the Wing, part 1. Viggo is speaking with Hiccup when he says,
"Hiccup, I'm not unreasonable. I have no desire to rule the world like some people. I'm a businessman."
Now, while not mentioning Drago Bludvist by name, Viggo is clearly thinking of someone, and it's quite possible that the creators were alluding to Drago Bludvist. Okay, so Viggo has heard of Drago Bludvist. This isn't hard to believe for someone who is at the top of the dragon trading business. But what about something more concrete connecting the two of them? Well, the second hint that we get is in Season 3, Episode 1 of Race to the Edge, where the dragon hunters capture Hiccup and they attempt to brand him. Threatening Hiccup by holding the brand to his face, what symbol do we see? Drago Bludvists. I talked about what this symbol meant in a previous video, and you can click the link up in the corner of the screen to go watch that. And this has an interesting connection to the second movie, because as you'll remember, Eret was also branded by Drago Bludvist with that exact symbol. Now, this connection doesn't prove that Viggo and the Dragon Hunters work for Drago, but it does show us that they have had some interaction. Otherwise, how else would they have gotten hold of this brand with that symbol? Maybe they've fought one another. Or maybe they've traded dragons. Now, as I was researching for this video, I came across a popular theory that the Hunters and Drago Bludvist are connected because of this symbol. Well, some say that the symbol, a bloody fist, is meant to mean Bludvist, as in Drago Bludvist. Which would make sense if Drago owned the Dragon Hunter ships to put his symbol on them, right? But I personally don't agree with this theory. Drago Bludvist already has a bunch of symbols that he puts on his ships. This one and these ones, and I spent a whole video talking about what these might possibly mean, and you can click the link up in the corner of the video to go watch that. More importantly, it actually makes more sense that the bloody fist is a symbol of Viggo Grimborn's tribe, rather than having anything to do with Drago Bludvist. The bloody fist symbol appears painted on the decks and the masts of the Dragon Hunters ships, but more crucially, it also appears as the symbol on Viggo Grimborn's belt buckle. Belt buckles are important, okay? We see this with Dagger, who has the skrill both on his ships and on his belt buckle, as well as Elvin, who has these horns as his belt buckle to match the horns on the helmet insignia that we see on his ships. But the most persuasive piece of evidence that the bloody fist is the symbol of the Grimborn tribe is that Viggo Grimborn clearly states that the Dragon Eye has belonged to his tribe for generations. And what symbol do we see in the Dragon Eye? The bloody fist. This symbol has clearly been associated with the Grimborn tribe for possibly hundreds of years, not with Drago Bludvist. But I could be wrong, what do you think? Who knows?
But what if Viggo and Drago are from the same tribe?
Excellent question, you purple-faced reptile. As I discussed in a previous video, I've theorized that Drago Bludvist came from a faraway land, probably somewhere in the region of like here. But the accents that both Riker and Viggo have, as well as most of his men, tend to imply that they're probably somewhere from around here. Also, if the bloody fist was Bludvist's symbol, why would he get the Dragon Hunters to use it but nobody else? I just had a bunch of questions which I didn't feel necessarily added up to that. So ha, Spyro! Viggo and Drago are definitely connected, but not necessarily in the way that a lot of people think. And things get really interesting when we meet Krogan, the masked man in the 3rd season. I made a previous video about who he might be and what he's doing there, and you can click the link up in the corner of the screen to watch that. Because when we meet Krogan, we finally begin to understand just how deeply Viggo and the Dragon Hunters and Drago Bludvist are really connected, as well as kind of what relationship they share. Are they business partners? Perhaps business rivals? Or does Viggo work for Drago? And what if I told you DreamWorks has actually confirmed the connection between the two of them? I wanted to talk about all of this in one video, but there was just too much to talk about and I'm kind of a bit overwhelmed with assignments at the moment. So I'm sorry, please forgive me. Part 2 of this theory will go into just how they are connected, how they have related and interacted with one another. The second part of this theory will be coming out later in the week, about Saturday morning USA time, about 1 AM my time. Damn right, I stay up to make sure you get your video on time. I also just generally hate sleep. Actually, that's a good question, SUBFURYs. Do you like or hate sleep? Do you get too much or do you get too little? What distracts you from sleeping? Tell me down below. In the meantime, please come follow my second channel where we will talk more casually and you can get to know me more and I can get to know you. There's a link to that down in the description below. Also, you get to watch me play Rise of Berk. I'd also love for you to join the other SUBFURYs. Follow me on Twitter, Wattpad, Facebook, emailing me or sending me stuff that you've made at the address in the links below. Stay nerdy, SUBFURYs, and I'll see you in the future.